What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from the quarantine zone again. This time we are here with Jonas of King of Asgard. Thank you so much for your time today, man. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. We have the brand new album Svartrviðr coming out, which translates to Blackwood, just in case I failed at that pronunciation. But do you just want to talk about how the making of this album was? Were you intending to just make a direct continuation of your last album, Tawdr, or was this like almost a new beginning for King of Asgard in a way?
Actually, we didn't know where it should turn after Tawdr, but when we started doing the new material for this album, I guess everything went like a continuation of Tawdr, which very much reminds musically to this album and so forth. So basically, they are very close connected to each other, and but the material on this coming is, of course, even further taken than on Tawdr. So, yeah,
Hmm.
uh, we experimented quite a lot and had the songs in turn for a long time and went back and forth and blah 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 to really get them perfect.
Hmm. So did these songs change? You mentioned you were working on these songs for a while and there was a lot of experimenting. So in terms of the structure that we're hearing this song and the way that we're hearing these songs, these aren't how they first originally were written,
I don't
right? They
know.
changed a lot over a span of time.
Yeah, very much I would say. The way we work is that me and Carl, the guitarist and vocalist, put the songs together at home basically, just to have a start, and then we take it to rehearsal, and from there then the work starts, so to say.
Mhm.
And for example, one of the songs was the first one probably we started with, and the last one that got finished. So we changed it a lot just probably weeks before we went to the studio. So everything can happen until we are satisfied.
And being that and there was clearly no preconceived idea of what this album would sound like, right? There was a lot. You mentioned the experimentation. It wasn't like you were
Mm,
dictated by a specific idea or anything, right?
no, 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 no limits, not whatsoever. Of course, we want things to sound this and that way, but uh, we know how we want things, but we're open for new stuff all the time. And yeah, try new stuff basically.
Yeah, because I don't consider Two North to be very, very different from Karg, but they do have some noticeable differences and going to Tawdr and even this new album. So I think you kind of have the best of both worlds where people are always going to know that
Mhm.
it's King of Asgard, but you're able to
Yeah,
also bring something new to the table each time to keep it interesting.
yeah, I think that's right. That's what we try to do, and we want to continue what we once started and not just get stuck in the wheel, so to say. Uh, with, I guess we want to get more atmosphere than on the first three album, maybe.
Okay.
That's why the songs are like 10 minutes and,
Yeah.
doesn't really work for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I do consider the first three albums to really be black metal, really raw,
Yeah.
hypothermia, black metal in a way,
Mm.
and and then I saw them getting more polished and having more of a melodic death metal structure as it went along. Was that a direction that you always expected to take?
Maybe not. We've always been between black and death metal and, yeah, metal. But black metal or the darker death metal has always been closest to us, and but maybe the songs earlier were like bit more melodic, and these days it's more like yeah, black metal, but still with death metal twist, of course.
Hmm. Do you, and like, for you, like, has the songwriting process still remain the same, as in terms it always starts off with a similar way? Does it always start off with riffs, or does it always start off with a concept, or does it always start off with a similar style, or has the songwriting always came from multiple directions?
Mainly, I would say it starts with riffs from mainly Carl also, and then we put it together and kind of we collect very very much riffs, and what should I say? Pick what we think will fit best and throw away like multiple, how many I don't know, but so we get the feeling in which direction they're taking us, and from there we kind of get the concept. Say we write three first songs, and yeah, this is now we're getting to what we want to achieve, and then it's like written more conceptually,
Hmm.
probably.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed, because a lot of like this Viking blackened metal style, there is always a concept behind it. Like, it isn't just the music, but they do always follow like a storyline. And has King of Asgard's music always meant to be open to interpretation, or is the goal to get the listener just as much engaged in the story as it is with the music?
Mm. I'd say it's not. Yeah, I'd say it's interpretation, absolutely, because when we write about these stories or our history or heritage or whatever, it's written in a way that the readers or listeners will really have to interpret those words to their own. It's not like just telling the story, but it's more, yeah, difficult or what.
But like, I feel like for a listener, they should always start off with the first song and end with the last song. I don't feel like that the album should be listened to like on shuffle or anything like that. I think that the
Mm.
albums in itself are very much a journey.
Yeah, that's what we tried to achieve. Uh, we didn't decide that before we recorded the songs, but we knew we wanted them in a specific order, and to get this, as you say, emotion or traveling.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like going through different phases and ending in the end.
Mhm. And I remember I was interviewing the Viking band in Hurjar recently, and I asked them, like, if they're, because you're mentioned that you're looking at your heritage and you're looking at, stories from the past, but is there also maybe personal experiences that could also influence the music, or are you even looking towards the future with your concepts as well?
Yeah, in a way, not very, not very present in the lyrics, but there are, of course, lines that refer to future and the present and whatever. And we're not only talking about or writing about sagas and histories, but we write very much about our surroundings. We live here where we live. There are like rune stones just outside the city, and It's like how should I put it? We kind of like praise their existence. You know,
Yeah.
they're still here after all these years and standing proud, and people doesn't really notice, but maybe they should try. It's great.
Yeah, well, I think it's because in America, like everything is always moving forward. It's always moving
Mhm,
forward, and
mhm.
like not looking backwards, but always looking forwards. And I feel like with a lot of bands, especially in Scandinavia, they always bring their elements of history with them. They don't let it be
Yeah.
forgotten. I could tell that, with every Swedish band I've listened to, whether it's Amon Amarth or it's Kent,
Mhm.
I still think that it's very much rooted into their own cultural roots.
Yeah, that's true. And that's what we try to achieve. And yeah, we want it that way.
when when the band first started, because the band started in 2008, and so like a lot of people, every time I interview like a melodic death metal band from Sweden, a lot of people think, oh, they must have been there with At the Gates and The Haunted and In Flames,
Yeah.
and but like was there still a very thriving scene when King of Asgard started?
Yeah, I guess it was. It's always been big scene here with both death metal and black metal and metal in every way. uh, since like we've been along for a long time in bands before King of Asgard. Like Carl is from Midtotin, which started around when Amon Amarth, for example, started in the early 90s. So we've been along for a long time, and so we haven't really thought about it. We've been in it for ages.
Well, and you've also played with a lot of bands as well. Like I know that you've played with Retaliation, and you've played with Bloodshed Nile and so many other bands. So going from all these different projects into King of Asgard, I mean, is it like a different mind frame or a different creative process, or is there something that always applied to everything?
Uh, in the beginning, I had actually quite a hard time when I joined. They were about to, yeah, they have mainly written all of the first album when I got in, and I thought it was a bit too melodic for my taste, you know. Uh, but Carl is a very good friend, or my best friend, and we've been pals since childhood. So I thought, yeah, I give it a chance and try it out. And through the years, I've turned it into more uh, black metal, and yeah, put my sense in the music and so forth. So yeah, but now I feel like 100%
Yeah, and
in it.
I've yet to meet one Swedish musician who's just in one band. I've yet to interview
Oh,
one. Like they're always in multiple
yeah,
bands.
yeah, that's rare.
Yeah. And does like playing with one band allow you to bring in some new elements? Because I know with like Bloodshed Nile and Retaliation, you play guitar as opposed to bass with King of Asgard. So like, does maybe being in a guitar driven band at first maybe help you bring some new stuff to the bass or vice versa?
Oh, I'm I'm pretty much guitar driven all the time, I'd say. It's just that I play bass. I always, when creating music or thinking of music, I think in a guitarist uh, way, maybe. And I put guitars in first place and then think of bass and so forth.
Hmm. And so like have you brought, because I know that with like with like King of Asgard, you know, you released music in 2010 and 2012 and 2014, and can we be expecting, like, I know that with your other band, Vengeld, you were able to kind of did that maybe allow you, did working with King of Asgard like influence you to bringing into your bass parts in that project as well?
Yeah, maybe. In King of Asgard, I'm all in writing the music together with Carl. In Vanhelgd, it's more like I play in the band. Of course, I write lines and so forth, but we do it more together, and those guys are more doing it because I don't have the time, because King of Asgard takes my focus, so to say. But yeah, it helps, and you get to think in different ways and how you want to present.
And with King of Asgard being that history very much influences the music, do you almost feel that like when you're playing when you're recording the music or even playing live, that you almost like portray, for lack of better words, like a character that would come from the historical elements you sing about in a way?
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, or at least a sense or mood of what we or I think was around at those times. And you know, the historic breathing history is like, I want to feel that when listening to music. You can like cling on to the past.
Yeah, you become something that you aren't in your everyday life.
Yeah. Maybe not a character, but at least, yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote? Like, is there a chance you could bring King of Asgard to the States when this pandemic is finally behind us?
Would be awesome, of course. Bring you guys some history.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some videos out, or first singles. We put 2 out, and there will be a 3rd video coming before the album release. So we're editing that right now, so should show up sometime in May, and the album in May 28th.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time today. Everybody, we are
Yeah.
here with Jonas of King of Asgard. Be sure to check out the new album, Blackwood, also titled Svartrviðr. And this is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.